This is the first two law enforcement officers lost in the history of Peach County.
Killed in the line of duty, sacrificing it all for the safety of the Peach County community. Tonight, the Middle Georgia community remembers two officers who lost their lives 3 years ago. Good evening and thanks for watching WGXA News at 10. I'm Aaron Leedy. WGXA's Jayla Whitfield was at a memorial and joins us now with more tonight. Jayla.
Aaron, on November 6th of 2016, Patrick Sondren and Daryl Smallwood lost their lives while responding to a call of a dispute between neighbors. They were both shot on the scene. The Peach County community has continued to mourn them ever since.
Peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Matthew 5:9.
Those are the words left in the memorial to remember the lives of Patrick Sondren and Daryl Smallwood.
Everybody that pulls up in front of this building will know who Patrick Sondren and Daryl Smallwood were. You know, I remember getting up, putting on my vest because the shooting wasn't far from my house, and I was pulling up on scene. I could still hear the suspect shooting at our deputies.
Sheriff Deese arrived to the scene shortly after Sondren and Smallwood were gunned down.
They went to talk to the suspect in it, and he pulled a gun out of his waistband, shot both of them right there on the spot.
Sondren died at the hospital the night of the shooting, and Smallwood died just 2 days later.
We've traveled as far as we can. We've taken the last step that we can with Patrick.
Ralph Elrod pleaded guilty and accepted a plea deal in 2018. He will be serving 2 life sentences plus 100 years.
And we have struggled as an agency, as individuals for 3 years.
And so have the families of Sondren and Smallwood. Sondren's son, Jacob Sondren, was brought to the memorial today and had no idea what he would see.
It's way more than what I expected. I didn't know what we were coming out here to see, what was being unveiled. They knocked it out of the park.
Jacob wants his father to be remembered for what he has done and the sacrifice he made.
You know, a big portion of our lives, our heart, and everything was gone.
In Peach County, Jayla Whitfield.
Certainly still thinking of those families impacted 3 years ago this week. Welcome into the Skywatch Weather Center. Jeff Cox with you on this Wednesday night. It's been a beautiful day, plenty of sunshine to enjoy, and boy, how about those temperatures in the mid and upper 70s? But with that clear sky this evening, our temperature dropped off pretty quickly, and now about 2/3 of the mid-state are well into the 50s with low to mid-60s off to the south. Now that we're there, we'll pretty much hold steady the rest of the night, and the reason why, cloud cover will move in overnight and keep us warmer than what you woke up to this morning. Here's what it looks like in Dublin. Things are pretty quiet right now, 54, no wind to speak of, but as I mentioned, throughout the night, our clouds will begin to thicken up in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, and that'll keep us in the 50s for overnight lows. So your school day forecast, there you have it, low 50s at the bus stop. Should be close to 70 by lunchtime, easily in the low to mid 70s for the ride home, but you can see that trend of increasing clouds. Rain eventually moves in, but it should be late tomorrow evening when that happens. All right, coming up later in this half hour, 2 real cold fronts on the weather map. What do I mean by real? I'll break it down for you coming up. This weekend, a big day on the campus of Mercer University. It is homecoming. We'll break down the forecast for that. Plus, after today's upper 70s, you may be asking, where's fall? I'll explain where we should be this time of year. That plus your 10-day forecast just minutes from now.
Hi, Jeff. We'll see in a bit. Developing now, the Houston County Sheriff's Office confirms a threat was made against Fagan Mill Middle School. Captain Ronnie Harlow says a student made the threat earlier this week. We're told the issue was handled through the school system. The Sheriff's Office didn't have any more information about the nature of that threat. Also developing tonight, a person was hit and injured crossing Gray Highway just after 6 o'clock. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office says the person was intoxicated and walked in front of a vehicle. The driver was not injured and will not be cited. A multi-agency manhunt in Monroe County leads to the capture of 2 suspects wanted after a shooting and a chase last night. Justin Donnelly and Eugene Wilson were both captured today. Both are currently in the Monroe County Jail facing several charges. Deputies say they had to chase down the suspect's vehicle after they failed to stop for a traffic violation. That vehicle continued on I-75 South and exited at a rest area. The suspects then lost control of the car and took off running. The suspects also shot at deputies multiple times.
It could have ended a lot worse. Obviously fired 3 times, and it could have ended folks traveling on the interstate. Bad for them. I mean, this guy had no, he didn't care who he was shooting at. Obviously he wanted to hit us, but if the bullet went past us and hit somebody else, I really don't think he cared.
After searching the vehicle, authorities say they found bags of illegal drugs and guns. And deputies say Eugene Wilson was captured near Pea Ridge Road and Highway 41. The other suspect, Justin Donnelly, was caught just before 9 a.m. after a Forsyth gas station clerk jumped into action. Donnelly walked into the BP gas station on Rumble Road where Steve Reese was working. Reese says he recognized Donnelly's tattoos right away from pictures on Facebook.
I believe he was standing in front of me and I recognized him clearly. It was all over Facebook, and I couldn't believe that he would actually, because I was thinking, man, there's no place this guy can go and not be recognized, and all of a sudden I'm looking at him. I just couldn't believe that, and my next thought was, I got him,
Reese says he doesn't want to be called a hero. Instead, he credits the deputies for their hard work. Continuing coverage tonight, Alexis Crawford is still missing. She is the 21-year-old Clark Atlanta University senior who vanished a week ago. Police released new surveillance photos of her inside an Atlanta store from the night she disappeared. Crawford was last seen by her roommate on October 30th. Well, the roommate said the next morning Crawford wasn't in their apartment and the front door was locked with a deadbolt. Police say Crawford's keys and phone charger were both inside the apartment, but her iPhone, ID, and debit card were missing. It's unclear if foul play is suspected in her disappearance. 19-year-old Anaya Blanchard has been missing for 2 weeks now. She's from Auburn, Alabama, but police say they found her car at an apartment complex in Montgomery. And now investigators are getting some help from a nonprofit search and rescue organization out of Texas. They surveyed the area yesterday and put a search and rescue plan together. Their resources range from horse and rider teams to people searching on foot and also ATVs. The people in the area have come from 5 different states to help find Anaya. And new tonight, Auburn police are asking for the public's help in identifying a person captured on surveillance video inside the convenience store where Anaya Blanchard was last seen and disappeared.
The media is constantly under attack, but there's a new campaign to fight back. I'm Scott Thuman with that ad and the growing legal challenges.